before we get started with the stream tonight, let's talk about the current state of COD, right? I know that we've talked about it. I've talked about it on stream. It is not good for like the last several years. Bugs and things come and go. We always have that, but I feel like this has been one of the longest periods of time that direct feedback, like player sentiment, has felt like, what's the word I'm looking for? Overlooked more and more. Like they give a little, but like some of the major issues just seem keeps feeling like it's falling on deaf ears. But lately, there's been so much buzz and negative press, bad publicity on Twitter and just every platform that you can imagine. And it's been like completely radio silent from Call of Duty. We haven't heard anything, any information one way or the other. We got the short tweet right before the holidays from one of the studios from Call of Duty something, saying that we had we hear you, we have a bunch of ideas and things on the way that we're planning on addressing and doing something about shortly after the holidays. Well, here we are. January is practically almost over at this point, and we really had some super substandard, next to nothing updates over the last couple weeks. Cheating has ramped up to like a super high amount. But worse than that, I mean, it's the perception of cheating, right? The perception of the game, the bad servers, people DDoSing servers. It leads you to the point where you can't trust anything that's going on in the game, right? You might have just a really good player who has a broken meta weapon with broken, bugged out perks, and it makes them seem illegitimate. So it's like, what, you don't know really what you're looking at. Anyways, I say all that to say that there's been a lot of uncertainty. I've been a Call of Duty player for like 20 years now, and I've seen ups and downs, and I've seen bad periods and better periods. But the last couple of years, man, it's been like this slow decline that feels like it was coming to a head. And then comes a couple of big games out right now that is pulling players away left and right. I'm sure a lot of other games and studios are feeling it, but PoE 2 is very big right now. Marvel Rivals is pulling a lot of players in. Fortnite's killing it right now with some of the content they've put out. And I think it's just been a perfect storm of it's time to really step up and do something. Again, we haven't heard anything really from Call of Duty since the pre-holiday post, which was really just a short message to say, please hang in there, we're coming. And today they put something out on Twitter, a community update. Yo, Big Zig. What up, brother? Welcome in. See a compact weapon, fully kitted. Pick it up, will not let you swap it back to blue. Huh. Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. I haven't heard or seen that one, but what's happening, bro? Welcome into the chat, man. So, yeah, so anyways, they put something out, a community update today, and we're going to go over to this together and take a look at this because this is the most information. Yo, Josh, welcome in. 2 Joshes in the chat. Holy moly. Good to see you. So, anyways, they put out a pretty significant piece of information here, and I feel like, for me personally, and I think it's a lot of people, trust in the game right now is at an all-time low. I saw some posts on Twitter this evening. You know, actions are speak louder than words. I don't want you to talk about it, do something. And like, I think that's true to an extent. Like, we've had this same speech and spiel a few times now, and it's like, when's enough going to be enough? So anyways, we're going to switch over. We're going to take a look at this together. We'll go through some of this. We're not going to go through everything. I don't really play a lot of zombies, so I'm not going to talk about the zombie stuff. We'll briefly touch the stuff in multiplayer that has to do with global issues, but really, I primarily play a lot of Warzone. That's my thing when I do play Call of Duty. So we're gonna concentrate mostly on that. But anyway, so I had the post up here. It was the one that Raven put out before the holidays. Again, we're closely examining reported audio inconsistencies, lighting and visibility concerns, keyboard and mouse functionality, UAV behavior, blah, 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 blah. Many of these improvements will ship shortly after the holidays. In the meantime, we wish you a joyful holiday season. Well, shortly after the holidays has come and gone. We're now a long time after the holidays. So here's the thing about it, okay? They announced that we were not going to see these updates to the Ricochet anti-cheat system or see significant changes until season 2 or 3, and that put the community into a complete stir. It was bad comms. I know they're trying to be probably upfront and honest about the situation, but like, you got to figure out, you got to read the room, man. They're putting out bundles and paid event passes, which I don't have a problem with things like that. Okay. I'm not someone who would, I'll buy skins, I'll buy things like that, but I want the game to be in a state that makes that reasonable for me as a consumer. Like, I don't want to buy skins that I'm not ever going to get on and play the game because the game doesn't function the way that it should. So with that being said, here's the community update. Let me switch over to a smaller cam here. This community update, again, there's a lot of information in here, but like I was saying, I don't have any problem with the cosmetics and things like that, but just, you have to have a good game to go with that. And we really haven't had anything to look forward to for quite some time. But here's the update we got today. So let me make that a little bigger for you guys. Okay, so ahead of season 2, which is coming on the 28th, I believe. So we're about 10 days out. Okay. Ahead of season 2's launch in Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty Warzone on January 28th, we're here to address comprehensive feedback we've been hearing from our community in recent weeks and tell you what we're doing right now to improve the game. So comprehensive feedback is a great way to put that. Everybody's throwing rocks at your windows. Members from the various development teams and studios dedicated to specific systems, modes, and functions across the Call of Duty franchise have provided insights below into how we're prioritizing what matters to our players today. Number one issues, cheating and bans. And when it says cheating and bans, they're also referring to the shadow ban issues where legitimate players are getting, limited matchmaking because someone reported them. There's a lot of things wrapped up around that, but the ability to disable crossplay on consoles in ranked play. So this is something that they took away for most consoles or whatever. I'm confused about this statement and what they talk about a little bit later on this. I did see some of this in another video earlier, but disable crossplay on consoles in ranked play. PS5s have the capability right now to disable crossplay, but that's only PS5, so you can only play with PS5. So what I'm concerned with is does this mean it's crossplay consoles, so Xbox, PlayStation networks can play together and skip out PC? Because I think that's a huge thing if that's the case. Either way, it's still a good change because it gives people the option. But anyway, server issues. Servers, absolutely. The funny thing about this is, to me, server issues, I don't know if these are ranked in order of importance, but server issues is the biggest one. Because I said before this game came out, I said it before MW3 released, and I'll say it forever, they can make the most perfect 10 out of 10 shooter game with polished, limited bugs. The mechanics are great, movement's great, gunplay's great, everything's perfect. But if the servers are crap or appear to be crap, then people are not going to want to play the game. Quality of life updates, requested bug fixes, which there are a ton. There are a lot of bugs in this game. So I get the fact that, listen, you guys have a lot to manage. It's a big thing to try to eat all at one time. And also, I would like to say this. I've seen some people post some things this week about the fires in California. These studios are located Been very close proximity to those fires, so I'm sure they're managing issues with that at the studio as well as at their homes with their family and stuff like that. However, these problems didn't just start happening a month ago, number one. But number two, there's a lot of people apologizing for them on Twitter. I agree with that sentiment, but they could have communicated that as well, and they didn't. Just say that, like, hey, we planned to have this out sooner, but this was going on. And they were radio silent for a minute. So wouldn't let you pick up random. Well, that's another thing too, Zig. We'll talk about that. But, like party system, they did supposedly fix the loading screen bug, which was kicking people out. But I'm sure there's other bugs and issues. There's some that have been around for going on 4 or 5 years now when it comes to partying up, especially when you're in crossplay. Like, someone's on PlayStation, someone's on Xbox, there's all kinds of problems. But, as they say right here, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the updates here. Specifically, this is the biggest issue in the game right now. If you don't know, okay, there are way more people cheating in this game than you are aware of. Like, you see people doing it blatantly and you can tell, but there are also people that are doing it and it's not so easy to detect. People think consoles are safe. Consoles are not safe. There's items out there. There was a video that released today where a guy was caught red-handed in some video with overlay cheats on his console. So you can find that out there. It's out there in the ethosphere. But the appearance of this is what is driving the sentiment so far down. So they say here, instances of cheating in Call of Duty, particularly in ranked play across both multiplayer and Warzone, are frustrating and severely impact the experience for our community. We're here to tell you that what's being done about it today and our plan for support throughout 2025. Live now are new layers of security and protections against cheaters in Call of Duty, as well as updates to protect the competitive integrity of the game. So these are live right now. When those went live, we don't know. I mean, for all we know, they put them in and kind of monitor things in the background for a while, but they're telling us that's live right now. There's been no patch notes or anything that I've seen about that until right now. Updated detection models for behavioral systems such as aimbotting and other data points, including account trust and hardware identifiers to target serial cheaters. Over 136,000 rank play accounts banned since the mode launched, since rank play launched. That number is astonishing to me because, number one, if you watch creators, like I've watched several creators playing ranked. I don't play ranked, but I like watching the ranked grind. It's crazy how many cheaters they're running into, and they're claiming to have banned 136,000. So how many, like, what percentage does that represent of accounts? You know what I mean? Like, how many are out there actually? Is that half? Did you ban half of them or 20%? Even if that's half of the number or 75% of the number, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. But hopefully these new updates will start increasing that. Okay, enhancing cross-examination tools focus on reducing the time it takes to action accounts. So that's how long can they actually be in game before they are caught. New detection and warning systems for spam reporting by accounts. This goes back to this shadow ban thing. It's a huge war in the community right now between the players and Activision. They've said many times, this continues to say the same thing. Spam reports don't count. One report gets taken into consideration. Okay, that's may be true, may not be true. People have said they're lying about that, but basically they're putting things in place to actually go after people who are spam reporting. So if you're submitting 100 reports on a player, you could face suspensions or whatever they're decide to do there because of that, but also to target these cheat tools that are spamming 10,000 reports to try to live ban people or live shadow ban people, in game. New detection warning system for, repeat playing with cheaters behavior. So basically, the system will detect other accounts that has regularly played with a discovered cheater and raise flags to investigate combat boosting and other cheater behavior. So there's people out there that knowingly play with cheaters to boost their account into like higher rankings or unlock cosmetics and things like that they may not have the ability to do upon their own. So we've seen community questions about detection methods like IP-based banning. We do not utilize IP-based bans for anti-cheat because they tend to take action against entire groups within a range that aren't problematic. For example, college campus or internet cafe would be swept up in an IP-based ban wave when only a single machine was targeted. I mean, that makes sense to me, right? You don't want to ban 500 people in an apartment building because one dude down in 6A was cheating. In December, we announced that we're implementing major upgrades to the currently online and active kernel level driver for Season 2, as well as upgrades to server-side systems in early 2025. Here's more on what to expect from these updates and when they're set to be added. Season 2, new and improved client and server-side detections and systems, major kernel level driver update, improvements to driver security, reinforced encryption process, new tampering detection system. So these are things coming in Season 2. Will they be at launch or within that season? It's kind of unclear. Season 3 and beyond, a multitude of new tech, including a brand new system to authenticate legit players and target cheaters. Note, as we get closer to Season 3, we'll dive a little deeper on this system. However, it's important we don't provide too many details that could give cheat developers a peek behind the curtain. We're not slowing down in our mission to shut down cheaters, whose only mission is to ruin the fun for everyone else. And we're confident the combination of the updates above, as well as ongoing improvements to our detection systems and Activision's continued legal actions against illegal cheat sellers, will provide a demonstrably healthier gameplay experience going forward. Okay. That's a lot of words and promises. And this is where the community is like frustrated. We've heard this so many times. And yet we've watched other game companies and other studios take a much harder, firmer stance against cheaters than we've seen within Call of Duty. It's always more talk than it is actual results. So I hope that they are taking this serious because I think it really is starting to affect their numbers. Take, for example, I thought about this earlier. I saw this number, right? We banned over 136,000 ranked play accounts since ranked launched. Here in the last month or two, okay, there's been a lot of content created around Call of Duty has lost X amount of players from its player base. Call of Duty's lost half its player base. Those numbers specifically are only talking about players on Steam. They don't represent Battle.net. They don't represent the consoles. Meanwhile, Call of Duty's in the top second game on Xbox and top 3 game, top 5 game on PlayStation. We know that for sure. We don't know how many players necessarily, but so if you ban 136,000 players and let's say half of them or almost all of them are playing the game through Steam, you're going to see a significant player drop on there, are you not? I'm not saying that that's the reason or the correlation, but we don't know those things. But maybe that's why we started to see such a steep decline on there. Again, I'm just making speculation. I don't know that that's true or not, but it's an interesting thought. Anyways, okay, on to server stability, packet loss, and lobby crashing. We've seen community reports of increased rubber banding, packet loss notifications, server disconnects in recent weeks, especially in ranked play, and in certain regions where some players may not have access to as many servers as others. Excuse me. We've been monitoring match activity closely, including identifying suspicious accounts that appear in multiple crash lobbies. The team at Demonware has narrowed down some specific causes of these issues that can affect all players, and new improvements have been made to Call of Duty server infrastructure this week to reduce targeted cases of malicious activities on our infrastructure and players. While this is an industry-wide issue, we remain committed to combating individuals and organizations who intend to ruin the gameplay experience for others. With these new improvements now in place for both Black Ops 6 and Warzone, we've already seen improvements in stability on the back end. While this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution for every potential issue with the online experience, we're confident in the results we've already seen in practice. In addition to these improvements, the team has also solved some specific server issues in regions that had recently experienced instability, but will continue to act quickly to resolve any of these if they reoccur. Missed a word there. As always, the Call of Duty teams will continue to keep a close eye on performance and make adjustments as necessary to deliver the best possible player experience. Okay, that all sounds great. Again, these are all things we've heard before. It's just like every time there's patch notes or an update, we see in the patch notes various fixes, server stability, and there's never any detail. We don't know what that means, but they're saying some of these changes are in place now, and they're seeing positive results, what have you. So we'll see. Hopefully, this is another thing. Again, this has to be taken more seriously. Server stability in this game has to be taken more seriously. If you can't trust the outcome of the game because, you know, you think everyone's cheating, but you combine that with the fact that you can't trust the outcome of the game because the servers are not providing you with real-time, real accurate feedback as to what's occurring when the your bullets are hitting another player, then that just is what it is. Like, it has to be looked at. Server stability has to become a priority, and whatever they have to do that, again, I think the rise of Marvel Rivals and other games, and honestly games on the horizon this year. GTA 6 is coming. There's a lot of potentially great games coming down the pike for this year. So hopefully they're jumping into that. Switch 2 was just announced the other day. I mean, that's going to be something people are all wrapped up in for a while. So, okay. So I'm not going to read all of this because here's why. I don't turn in-game voice chat on. I'm not there for the toxicity. I don't care about the trash talk. Like, I did all that when I was 12 years old. I'm just here to play games and have a good time. You know what I mean? And like, it used to be, honestly, in lobbies online, you would have 12 people in a game, 6v6, and 10 of them, 11 of them were cool people, and you could have conversations and you could talk a little trash. And now it's just absolutely, it's just toxic. So I don't care so much. However, I do think it's BS, this voice ban moderation. Like, if you say the wrong thing or curse at someone or call them a name and hurt their feelings, this thing will ban you from voice chat. I have been banned, voice chat banned, and I don't even use the in-game chat. My mic's off. I don't talk in-game, and so it's clearly broken. So they're making promises here to look at the moderation of that, to loosen the standards a little bit. So as long as you don't go into the realm of like incendiary, derogatory, racist kind of comments, you know, if you want to tell someone they're a fucking bitch, that's going to be okay going forward, I guess. So I don't know, but anyways, they're working towards that. All right, here we go. Here's gameplay updates, bug fixes, things like that. This is what really is important right now on top of all that as well for the current iteration of Black Ops 6 and Warzone. All right, global changes, challenge tracker. This is a huge win. We will be able to manually track up to 10 challenges or 10 nearest completed. So like, you're working on a camo or something else. Now we can see that, I guess, in game on the HUD, or I mean, that's maybe in the lobby on a HUD. Like, we need that because it is frustrating not knowing where you might be with a certain weapon and a camo grind, and you want to switch over to another one, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Separate HUD preset settings for multiplayer and zombies. Reduce collision with teammates to improve maneuverability around tight spaces and doorways of nearby teammates. Thank you, God. I hope that is a great fix. I hope it works. The collision in this game, especially with Omni movement, is one of the most frustrating things ever. You know, you're trying to escape a gunfight because, you know, whatever the case is, and you got a teammate coming through the door and they knock you off the roof and you die. And that has happened to me on Skyline, several maps. So that's a huge W. So multiplayer, weapon balance pass, bullet penetration updates. That's also, spoilers, part of the Warzone talk. Everything is wall bangable, and they're trying, I guess they're going to look at that and maybe lessen the impact of that. I'm okay with all that, honestly. That's only real bad because we have all these perks that ping players and mark players behind walls. So that's a problem whenever you can see behind the wall, of course. But they're also making some changes towards that as well. Further reducing weapon motion when jumping, sliding, and diving with the dexterity perk equipped. So dexterity has never worked really as intended, or, you know, not enough. So they're making changes to that. Improving player visibility and kill confirmed by reducing the height of the dog tags. Okay, I like that idea. I don't know there was ever really a problem for me. Simplifying, expanding requirements for several prestige calling card challenges. That is a big thing. They need to simplify challenges, okay? There are people who have all day long, 8 hour, 10 hours a day to play this game professionally and unlock camos. But me and my homies get a couple hours a night, some of us a couple hours a week if we're lucky, and you've got these ridiculous challenges for some of the later in some of the camos, not to mention they don't track properly. So there's no accurate feedback as to whether you're actually doing the thing it's asking you to do to complete that challenge. So hopefully they're doing a whole overhaul with that as well. Later in Season 2, we plan on adding an icon over an opponent's head when you shoot them if they have Warcry active, so you know they've got a faster health regen. So same thing like they did with stims. Warcry is like stims. They're getting faster health regen and increased speed. You lose a gunfight, you felt like you should have won because you're not getting feedback that they got a health boost from that thing. So that's a good thing too. Expanding the number of featured playlist slots, bringing gunfight back to featured playlists, keeping stakeout 24/7 in featured playlists, planning a small map mosh pit. Okay, all those are great playlist changes. High profile bug fixes. Gearhead will now properly increase the charge rate of field upgrades. Free for all will accurately calculate the scoreboard by kills, and the winner circle will accurately showcase the top 3 FFA players. I don't play a lot of free for all, and I know there was something about that. I'm not sure what it was. I wonder if it had something to do with the eliminations, which I wish they would just get rid of because no one cares about that. Ninja will no longer be able to reset between respawns or round transitions to certain game modes. Fixes and tuning updates for a large number of calling card challenges. So calling card challenges, but also camo challenges. Can we get that in there? Can we make that something that we think about? I mean, listen, I don't want to ask for more than what they're giving us. They deliver on all of this. We'll get to that eventually, I'm sure. All right, so ranked play. Listen, I'm not going to go over this. I don't play ranked play, but basically they're making it so that you can disable crossplay. That wasn't in there before. That's a big win. The community's going to love that. The vote to forfeit feature will allow players to vote with their team to end a match early if you're getting blown out or you've lost a teammate, and this will count as a standard loss and not result in SR penalties or suspensions. Sure. And the ability to rejoin matches is planned for later in Season 2. So again, zombies, we're not going to go over this. Now, here we go. This is what I want to talk about, and I have seen some of this, and it looks pretty good if they deliver. So incoming Warzone updates. Let's talk about Season 2 for Call of Duty Warzone. We've made the decision to prioritize focus on gameplay tuning, adding more quality of life, and addressing ongoing bugs. This means that in order to deliver meaningful improvements to our players, new content originally planned for Season 2 has been shifted to create bandwidth to address foundational issues. This is in direct response to the criticism that they have received over continuing to market and push bundles and cosmetics and battle passes and black cells and event passes that you have to pay for in the face of, you know, the community screaming that they need help and this is broken and we're being ran over by cheaters and the servers are so, you know, it's like someone's drowning in a swimming pool and they're calling out for help, and Activision, the lifeguard, came over and asked them for $5 more for the floaty to get out of the, so they could like survive the encounter. They're pushing content out. Yo, Tyler, welcome in the chat. Welcome in. It's good to see you again. Yeah, I mean, Black Ops, the multiplayer game, is actually fun and in an okay state. It is also struggling with cheaters and server issues. However, the game itself's great. They made a fantastic game here, and they have to address a lot of other issues to bring everything in line. But I had a ton of fun when I played Black Ops and worked on the multiplayer grind. I would like to go back to that, but I, have been riding with Warzone. So hopefully these changes deliver and we get back to a very fun and competitive multiplayer and Warzone experience. But so, they're talking about pushing the content out. I think that's great. That's the first time I've seen them say or do anything like that. Like, hey, we're not going to put these bundles out or this content. We're going to focus on the foundational issues: gameplay, bugs, servers, cheaters. That's it. It's time that they start delivering for the player. And so it sounds like they're looking at that. These improvements won't come all at once. Rather, they'll be staggered across the season with quite a few quality of life changes coming mid-season. Our priority is having the most solid foundation that Battle Royale can offer, and are excited for players to see it all live. Believe me when I say this, Activision, Call of Duty, we are excited to see it all live. I mean, if you think you're excited to see it live, you can't imagine how we feel. All right, so key gameplay and quality of life adjustments. Warzone is a constantly evolving game, bringing new experiences through yearly integrations of weapons, mechanics, maps, and more. While this approach keeps things fresh, it also comes with its share of challenges. Regular changes come with the risk of shifting the game away from what some players may consider their sweet spot, altering mechanics and features that once defined the game for them. The ongoing challenge lies in finding the right balance of innovation while preserving the core DNA that makes the game uniquely Warzone. On that note, we're introducing a number of gameplay adjustments in Season 2 and beyond that we hope players will be happy to see. We will be happy to see it. I promise you. All right, listen. Here are some changes coming. These are all actually excellent. This is stuff we've been yelling for, pining for. So I think we're on the right track if they deliver. Okay, so changes. Reload speeds are faster for all weapons, anywhere from 5 to 20% depending on the weapon class. W. Reduce penalty when sprint to fire jumping from 35% to 10%, and increase jump ADS speeds by 25%. The intent is to find that middle ground of being able to pull off jump shots without it being the meta movement strategy. W. Adjusted bullet penetration across most materials, resulting in more consistent experience for thicker walls in particular. W. I want to be able to shoot through the wood door, but I don't want to be able to shoot through the entire building. Weapon swap speed increased by 10%, effectively replicating the effect of quick grip gloves perk from Modern Warfare. W. Big W. Remove burst and semi-auto rifles and low rarity pistols from ground loot, allowing more confidence in knowing how your weapon will fire when you pick it up. Also a huge W. When you land in an area and that you open 15 chests and the only thing you find are pistols and the absolute worst rifles in the game, you might as well just back out and start a new lobby because you're probably cooked. Okay, movement. Increase both jump speed and successive jump height with one unmodified successive jump. W. I'm not a bunny hopper. I've used that tactic before, but that was never really like my mainstay. But restricting movement like that, I think, has left a bad taste in a lot of players' mouths, and it sounds like they're trying to meet a middle ground. So this is good. Increase the speed of the parachute cut animation, making cutting a parachute and readying your weapon significantly faster. W. Increase player velocity when landing from a cut parachute land for smoother transition into full sprint. W. Audio. Reducing reverb effects to improve directionality of movement audio produced by other players. Footsteps, ascenders, parachutes. W. Listen, we'll see. Audio is awful at times. It is... You know, it depends on what map you're on, right? Do they have bugs on that map and not the other? It's like, it's all over the place. I still can't believe they won a video game award this year for greatest audio, because that's absolutely laughable. But hopefully they figure audio out. This is another one that they've been promising and talking about. It seems like every single update we've had for the last 3 years, at least, every single one has said we made audio improvements, but it never feels much better. Okay, these are all huge. Combat Scout pings will... Excuse me. Let me start that over. Holy shnikes. Combat Scout... I can't say it. I'm going to take a drink, chat. Talk amongst yourselves. It's so much to read. Tyler, Warzone is unplayable. Not really. You can still play it. You can have fun, but it's not optimized. Let's say it that way. A week ago, it was unplayable. There was a lot of issues that they did resolve with connecting to games and stuff, but borderline unplayable, I guess. I haven't been playing it much because of the issues. Okay, so anyways, perks. Combat Scout. Pings replaced with an outline that is not visible through walls. W. Combat Scout is so OP, and you combine that with the spy camera and tracker utilizing the Combat Scout ping. This is huge. It was too much information for most players. It was hard to tell sometimes in the kill cam, did I just get someone have tracker on and kill me, or was that guy walling? Nice. Yeah, man. Definitely. I mean, the map, the game play is good. It's the issues, the bugs, and things they need to quality of life adjustments, and we're getting there. Okay, so here is one. It was almost as if Treyarch was dead set against this. These are things they changed and put in place in Modern Warfare 3 that were loved by the community. Loved. Everyone, casual, sweats, everyone loved this. And then they took it out and like refused to put it back in. We're coming up on season 2 and they're just now putting this back. So this is a huge W for the community. Added new default perks. Everyone will drop in with dexterity equipped. The weapon component has been increased in effectiveness and made default for all Warzone players. So reload speed, weapon swapping, all that stuff that dexterity gave. This is the jump penalties and stuff when moving, sliding, diving. That will help. This is the other. As mentioned above, we've replicated the effect of quick grip gloves and fast reload via weapon adjustments. So we are getting faster reloads and weapon swaps as a default. Mountaineer returns as a perk in slot 1, replacing dexterity. We've increased the fall damage reduction substantially from what it is currently in live with dexterity, though not quite the powerhouse it was during Modern Warfare 3. It was pretty busted in Modern Warfare 3. It probably needed nerfed, but they completely killed it with this one. So now that one may be valuable. Veteran now significantly reduces the damage ticks of gas grenades. Okay, there is a counter to gas grenades. Gas grenades are pretty freaking OP. So if you don't have a gas mask or you don't want to worry about it, you can just run veteran. Equipment and kill streaks. Munition satchel now only provides 1 additional item, down from 2, to address overstocking and spamming equipment. 4 gas grenades, 4 grenades, 4 bouncing betties, 4 whatever is like having backpacks. I think 3 is still too many. I mean, you should have 2 of each and then have to loot for more. Muni boxes are everywhere. Ammo caches are all over the map. Like, there's just no need for this to be a thing. However, I'm glad they're making an adjustment to it. But really, 2 is enough, right? I mean, you use your equipment wisely. Maximum deployed tacticals and lethals reduced to 2 each, down from 3, to make more purposeful trap plays. So basically, by default, we got 3, and we could use 3 betties or 3 blast bombs, whatever, grenades, tear gases, like all of that. So the default deploy amount is being lowered and the ammo satchel amount's being lowered. So that's great. Gas grenade radius, duration, and movement penalties reduced to bring in line with the vision of a zoning tactical and less of a lethal crutch. So they're nerfing gas grenades. That also needs to happen. Spy camera's outline effect no longer renders through walls. Huge, because spy camera was really busted, but tear gas was just way stronger. It takes up your tactical slot. But if you blip someone with that spy camera, you just have walls for like, I don't know what, 5 to 8 seconds or something like that. So like wherever they went, your whole team could see them. So this will no longer render through walls. Advanced UAVs will now show elevation arrows. So that's good too. All of that stuff sounds great. Body shield functionality. So this is when you take someone as a human meat shield. It never really comes up, but there was issues with that where it would automatically release a player in a free fall. No longer provides outline of the victim's teammates through walls, so you can't use it for an intel. People would just hold someone to hunt the rest of their team down. I mean, in practice, that sounds great, but again, that's a significant advantage over some players. Removed manual release of players, keeping them alive. So what they would do is they'd pick them up, use them, let them go, grab them again, let them go, grab them again, and keep them in that state to like find their teammates. So it was being cheesed. Okay, the flares that fire out of the buy station when a player is bought back can now be pinged to increase visibility on redeployments. I like that change. But live pings on players should be like shortened some, but this one is a good one. Match stat tracker font adjusted for better readability at lower resolutions. Okay, so old people like me can read the menus better. Okay, bug fixes regarding live issues. We know how frustrating it is to see them linger and go unaddressed in patch notes. Although our team works hard to keep COD updates in the Trello current with the most visible issues, these channels do not reflect the full depth of work being done behind the scenes. Prioritization of fixes is fluid and shifts as new players appear or as ground is paved on existing ones. As always, player feedback is an important pillar of this process, so we encourage you to continue sharing your experiences with us. Here are some of the fixes players can Here are some of the fixes players can expect to see when Season 2 launches. Okay. Map and gameplay issues. Address visibility of dark areas and characters on Rebirth Island. Address players being forced to stand up while reviving down squad members. Thank you, both of those. Address exploits allowing players to access unintended areas of the map. Players getting under the map in Urzikstan has been a huge problem. Getting worse. Addressed parachutes deploying when jumping off ladders. I don't think that I've had that issue, but some players do. It's a big thing. So Weapons and equipment. Address weapons becoming inaccessible near interactable areas. Okay, that's a problem everybody faces. Address weapons falling through the buy station. Awful. Happens to everyone. Address weapon tooltips appearing as common when dropped to the ground. I think that's regarding, like, if someone's loadout gun hits the ground, it comes up as a gray weapon with one attachment. You don't know if it's a loadout gun or not. Perks and contracts. Address ghosts persisting through the pre-match lobby into the match. Okay, this fix is coming with Season 2, but if you don't know this right now, if you go into the pre-match lobby and you pick one of your loadouts with ghost equipped and you die, you have ghost by default for the rest of the match. You can pick 3 other perks, and you still have ghost right off rip. So that's been something people have been cheesing. They're fixing that. Address cold-blooded not properly countering tracker. Good. Address quick fix health regen not properly activating while plating. Good. Address survivor preventing players from reviving down squad members. I did not know survivor was causing this. Did you? Did anyone else? I haven't seen anyone talk about that. I know that the issue with reviving down squad members has been a problem. We've had it several times, but we're all running Survivor. I did not know that's what was causing it. That's where they could communicate this stuff a little sooner. Maybe the community doesn't know everything, you know? I try to stay up to date on all this information, like, closely, and I didn't know that. Address most wanted contracts not overriding respawn timers as intended. Operators. Address operator selection appearance issues in menu. So that's choosing operators. I wonder if that has anything to do with the operators that appear invisible in game that they sell in the store, and don't fix it for a couple days while it's for sale in the store. Anyways, rank play notes, same as multiplayer. They're disabling crossplay. They're making adjustments to SR penalties and to reconnect. I don't play rank play. So, closing up here, they have to say, looking ahead, we have ambitious plans and plenty of new content coming to Call of Duty in 2025, and you have our commitment. That's what's been outlined above is only the next phase in a series of ongoing updates with one mission in mind, making our game secure, social, and fun. ChatGPT doesn't get paid enough. That's stellar writing right there, honestly. As always, make sure you're following COD updates on X, blah, 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 Trello. Go follow them there. But you could just come hang out with me and I'll tell you about it if you want. You know what I mean? I was just saying. Season 2's launch is just around the corner on January 28th. Thank you to our players for your patience, and we'll be back with more communication soon. So that's it in a nutshell, chat, right there. That's what they had to say about it. And honestly, like I said, this all sounds fantastic, and if these changes all go into effect and they iron out the majority of the bugs, we got Verdansk coming, rumored releases in April right now, unless they phantom release it with the anniversary date in March. A lot of people thought March was going to be it, but if they get this in place and these things are successful at changing the perception of the game right now and bringing people back and getting people involved, the fundamental, the core foundation of the game right now is fun. So we shall see. I hope, again, I am here hoping that this is, all going to come to pass, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you guys for, bearing with me as we go through all of that information there. I felt like it was important to review that together, because we haven't been playing a lot of Call of Duty lately, and I want to play more, but it just is what it is, so make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, join us on our road to 500 subs, and we'll see you next time.